Everybody hold tight. Here we go.
Just like in training.
Another year, another COD game. We all knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time, and here it is, Call of Duty 2014, also known as Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It's the latest flogging of the dead horse, developed by Sledgehammer Games, High Moon Studios, and Raven Software. Keeping in line with the pseudo-futuristic vibe of Call of Duty Ghosts, the game takes place sometime in the near future, with the North Koreans taking center stage as the bad guys this time around, initially anyway. The main character is a Marine named Private Mitchell, voiced by Troy Baker, doing his best Troy Baker impersonation, and he's as aloof and uninteresting as you'd expect for a modern-day FPS protagonist. But stealing the limelight is Kevin Spacey as Jonathan Irons, the father of Mitchell's deceased best bro, and also the CEO of Atlas Corporation, a self-confessed superpower dealing with technology developed for military and philanthropic needs. Kevin Spacey has had his likeness adapted into the game engine, and he actually gives a pretty damn good performance, even if his motives and general allegiances are glaringly obvious from the get-go.
So what's next for Jonathan Irons?
The story and theme is kind of like Crysis meets Metal Gear Solid, you know, lots of cool tech gadgety stuff mixed in with politics around military corporations and governments. In the game's prologue, Mitchell gets his hand blown off and has it replaced by Atlas's prosthetics, also getting one of their exosuits, which gives him various superpowers per mission. Strangely enough, they don't give the player the choice of what powers they get each mission, which is a bit of a disappointment. The main abilities of the exosuit is a double jump, which is self-explanatory, and a quick dodge skill where you can kind of dart left or right to avoid attacks. You can also create a small riot shield to protect you from incoming fire, and lastly there's something called overdrive, which is the game's version of bullet time. Your suit can also be upgraded at the end of each mission to help boost your abilities in combat. But I guarantee you've seen all of this crap before in one form or another, and it's just about as unoriginal as the whole exosuit idea is in the first place. Other new innovations include different grenade types. One of the most interesting of these is something called a threat grenade, which scans the area, highlighting enemy positions for a short time. For a more offensive alternative, you can also throw smart grenades, which home in on enemies. Gimmicks aside though, this is still COD at its purest form. You know, you run around for a bit, take part in a few quick time events, shoot lots of bad guys, and then watch a cinematic as the next level loads. You breach rooms every now and then, you drive all kinds of vehicles, and you use different toys to take the bad guys out. They've played this very safe in terms of the campaign, and throughout the 6 or 7 hours it takes to finish it, you're not really going to be doing anything new or groundbreaking. Now that's not to say it's bad. In fact, the last half of the campaign is very well thrown together. Later on in the game you get a cloaking ability and also a grappling hook, which are really good fun to use. Also, during a stealth mission you can even use the grappling hook to pull people into the bushes for a sneaky kill, and that is awesome. It's just that they throw so many new features at you almost every single mission, it just becomes hard to remember what the hell everything does. And just when you get used to something like, you know, flying a jet or a hover bike, the segment ends and then you never do it again for the rest of the game. Visually, the game is extremely varied. You'll be jetting around the world seeing lots of different looking locales. The actual image quality and detail overall is pretty impressive, but it is horribly optimized. I'm talking game-breaking stuttering, constant frame rate drops, shockingly long loading screens, you name it. Even through to small, easily avoidable errors like seeing the same looking NPCs standing right next to each other. I think they blew their whole playtesting budget on Kevin Spacey. It's a shame too, because some of the visual effects like night vision and cloaking, as well as certain environments like Antarctica and some of the cyberpunk streets of Korea look really good, but they're so susceptible to performance issues that it just detracts from everything. I can't fault the audio though, it's absolutely amazing. From weapon effects, explosions and so forth. I feel the people who work on the sound in these games don't get enough credit for their hard work. But the biggest issue is hands down the stuttering. It makes it almost impossible to play at times. Some people, including myself, have somewhat fixed this issue by turning on shader preloading during cinematics. But the downside to this is that with this option enabled, all of the cinematics are delayed and practically unwatchable. You know, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that just shouldn't occur in the first place. This stuttering carries across to the multiplayer alongside with the always atrocious lag you expect from a Call of Duty game around launch. On that note, let's talk about the multiplayer, because no one really cares about the single player in a Call of Duty game anyway, right? Okay, well, this is really nothing new in terms of overall mechanics. Multiplayer is its own standalone program that offers up a variety of game modes like Team Deathmatch and Domination, and also allows the player to rank up from kills and other in-game activities through earning experience points. Play a single Call of Duty game in the last, 10 years and you'll know exactly what you're dealing with. At the moment, people only seem to be playing Team Deathmatch, and I haven't even been able to get a single other game mode going, but maybe this will change as more people pick the game up. Most of the exosuit mechanics from the campaign carry across into the multiplayer, and you're able to customize your fit out to your personal needs. Each player is equipped with a double jump and dash by default, and you can also choose some other powers as you require them. It's a little bit more dynamic than the other COD games for sure, but still this mode just feels like a watered down version of Titanfall to me. It's got the double jump mechanic, but no real parkour or wall hanging mechanics, and your movement speed is still somewhat laboured. And what is it with double jumps in FPS games at the moment too? Borderlands, Destiny, and now this. Anyway, you'll just mostly be using the double jump periodically to move over certain areas faster, but most of the time you'll just be running across the ground and methodically aiming down the sights as you normally would. As you would expect, these multiplayer maps are very well detailed, and I also like how they've given you the option to modify the FOV in the options menu. But really, this is just your standard cookie-cutter Call of Duty multiplayer mode with a few new movement control gimmicks, player perks, weapons, and abilities. You can also come across supply drops in matches with rare bits of gear that you can also sell for XP, and there is a certain degree of customization with your character's appearance, but that's about all that's new. Look, I'm not going to lie, I'm not very good at this mode, only because I don't have the time nor patience to spend hours and hours grinding away, but I still can recognize lipstick on a pig when I see it, and you don't need to be a genius to figure that one out. So finally, I guess the question everyone is asking is it all worth it? I'm going to assume that most people have already made their minds up about this one. You're either going to pick it up on launch day or avoid it like the plague, and nothing I say is going to change anyone's mind about that. I'll be honest, the campaign isn't entirely groundbreaking, but it does have some great missions in its second half, and also has the typical grandiose set pieces you'd expect to see in a Call of Duty game, along with its brief 6 or so hour long length. On the other hand, the multiplayer is basically the same mode it's always been, with a few new mechanics slapped on top. If you're going to spend a good 50 or so hours playing this mode, then yeah, you'll get your money's worth. If that last paragraph doesn't turn you off too much and you don't mind a whopping 45 gigabytes of hard drive space taken up, then Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is something you might want to check out. For everyone else who just raised an eyebrow though, you might just want to give it a miss. But hey, don't despair, there's always next year.